Hello everyone, welcome back. In today's video, we are going to cover UPSC Prelims PYQ series. So this series is based upon year-wise we will be covering the subjects. So in this first series, we are going to cover polity questions which has been asked in 2025 preliminary examination students. So overall, the approach for this prelims PYQ series will be trying to give you what are the areas or questions where you can apply logics, where you can apply elimination methods to eliminate the questions and arrive at the answers in an effective manner. Not only that, there are some areas, some questions which you need to be very careful, which you can skip. So that also you will learn in these kinds of UPSC prelims through PYQ queries. Additionally, we will be providing solutions to the questions also, which you can download from our Telegram group, students. Okay, let's go into the PYQ series. Before that, I wanted to give you the list of positive keywords, students, and negative keywords. This you need to necessarily remember for effectively answering most of the questions. So positive keywords which are used in the examination in the last 10 years by UPSC is can, some, may, one of the. So wherever you are finding this kind of words means, keywords means, that statements mostly tends to be correct. There are exceptions also. That's why I'm saying those are the things you will be learning through this UPSC Prelims PYQ series. And negative keywords, so directly, to the extent of, but, none, binding, all, every, mandatorily, immediately, steadily, temporarily, easily, wholly, should, must, not, cannot, any, entire, only. So these are the negative keywords wherever you are finding these kind of words in the statements that most of the times tends to be wrong. So these are the things you need to remember, students, effectively for answering the UPSC prelims questions. But there are some exceptions, as I said. Those things you will be keep learning when we do the UPSC prelims series based upon subject wise. Okay, students, let's now proceed to the first question. Consider the following statements. Panchayats at the intermediate level exist in all states. So all is a negatively keyword. So this statement mostly tends to be wrong, students. To be eligible to be a member of Panchayat at the intermediate level, a person should attain the age of 30 years. Should tends to be an extreme keyword. So mostly this also tends to be wrong most of the time, students. Additionally, while studying polity, you would have remembered to be a member of Panchayat, you don't need to be attain the age of 30 years because the age to attain to be eligible for standing in Panchayat election is very minimal age. That is only around 21 years. So using that common sense, whatever you have studied from basic NCERT, that is the Indian Constitution work, you have to work, it is easily given. You can remember that also and you can eliminate this. Let's move to the third statement, students. The Chief Minister of a state constitutes a commission to review the internal position of panchayats. Students, let's be very clear. It is a commission that has to be appointed for dealing with panchayats. Why the executive has to appoint such a body? So you cannot give that responsibility to the executive of a state. Rather, that might have given to any constitutional positional body such as governor only. This is also available in your basic NCERT. But by using the elimination technique, you can eliminate statement 1 and statement 2. Now what they are asking is, which of the following above given above are not correct? They are also asking only the wrong statement. So 1 and 2 has to be necessarily there by using elimination strategy. So remaining statements you can eliminate it. So you will be arriving at either option A or option D. But you know very well the chief minister cannot appoint it. It has to be the role of governor. If you know this after reading the basic NCERT of Indian Constitution at work, you will be easily arriving at the D option. Otherwise also you will be having a 50% probability, students. In most of the cases, if you are having 50% probability, I will be advising you to go for risk for that option and try to take either one of the option as your right option. Why I am telling that is because, students, it is in the UPSC preliminary examination, you can at least answer up to a maximum of 7 to 10 questions in this range, in this 50% probability range. So it is always advisable to take a logical and eliminated guesswork. That's what I am saying, students, not a blind guess, which I won't even advise to my students. Anyways, let's look at the answer. Correct answer is option D, which we have arrived at it already. And let's look at the third statement. Third statement, it is a governor who has to appoint, as I said already. Let's move to the second question, students. Who among the following are the members of the jury to elect the recipient of Gandhi Peace Prize? So it is a prize, and for that they are asking the jury members. So looking at the options, two are executive body, one is judicial body, another is a parliamentary person. So if you look at the options, what we can logically, if you take a guess or if you want to take an logical guess, that's what I will be telling. There needs to be a member of representative from judiciary and executive. 3 and 4 has to be necessarily be there. Look at the option, students, where 3 and 4 has to be there. So if you look at it, then only one option is providing, that is option C. So in that option, it is going for option 2, that is the prime minister. So that is highly possible. Reason being that president cannot come and sit for electing this kind of prizes. So mostly the possibility of prime minister to be a member of the body is highly possible. So you can easily go for option C. This is also only by using common sense we have arrived at the answer. Let's look at the option here also. The correct answer is also C. And if you look at the Gandhi jury prize, jury members, the additional 2 members are nominated persons. Those are eminent persons. Okay, let's now move to the third question, students. This question is about Lokpal. The power of the Lokpal applies to public servants, but not to the Indian public servants posted outside India. This looks contradictory or not? Why a person, if he is working outside, an government person, bureaucrat, if he is working outside India, means does he not belongs to government service? If he involves in corruption, why can't Lokpal take action against them? So it looks logically totally wrong, students. Easily you can eliminate option. That is the first statement, and they are asking here which of the following are correct. So one should not even be there in any of the option. So let's now move to the second statement, students. The chairperson or member shall not be a member of parliament or member of legislature or union territory, and only the Chief Justice of India, whether incumbent or retired, has to be his chairperson. So there are two negative words used here. Not only that, students, here they are saying only the Chief Justice, that is incumbent or retired, has to be his chairperson. So that also tends to be probably wrong. So, but let's wait here. Let's move to the third statement. The chairperson or a member shall not be a person less than 45 years of age. So here they are talking about age criteria, which we are not very sure. So let's wait for the third statement also. Let's move to the fourth statement. Lokpal cannot inquire into allegations of corruption against a sitting PM of India. Why not? You would have been very aware if you would have read newspapers, current affairs. At that time, for appointing Lokpal, Anna Hazare only went for long time. There is fast protesting also. That time Congress government was there, and it was very clear. One of the crucial demand for Lokpal is that he wanted that body to take actions against the highest executive in the body. That is starting from Prime Minister, Chief Minister, everyone. So this can never be the option. Easily you can eliminate 4 also. So 1 and 4 should never be in the option. If you look at it also, you can eliminate only option C. So you can arrive at either option A, B or D. But one thing here what we can understand is we are not, since they have just used a like negative keyword, we cannot eliminate it. As I said already, you need to use some kind of logic and common sense, not blindly using the keyword strategy also. If you look at the second statement, students, here they are talking about the chairperson or member shall not be a member of the parliament or legislature, and only Chief Justice has to be his chairperson. Okay, students, one thing what I will be advising to my students is whenever you look at the option, one common strategy which you can use in UPSC preliminary examination is you look at the option A and option B. Here 3 is commonly found in both the options. That means most of the times this can tend to be correct. So if you assume that third statement to be correct, then let's look at only the second statement. Here there are 2 negative words used, so the probability of this tend to be false is maximum. So you can eliminate the second statement and you can arrive at option 3 only, that is A only. That is for the third question. Option A can be the correct answer, and that is also correct. Why I am telling this is, students, this elimination strategy should not be blindly used all the times. Sometimes you have to rationally and logically think, because for appointing and taking action against a prime minister, chief minister, you have to appoint a senior most person, and that can be highly probable. A person above 45 years of age, you can appoint it. That is highly possible. But only selecting that person from judiciary is impossible. That's why I eliminated the second statement. Okay, students, if you look at it, the qualification of Lokpal, so they can appoint either former Chief Justice of India or former Supreme Court Judge. So it is not just Chief Justice, it can be even former Supreme Court Judge. They can appoint here. Okay. Let's now move to the next question, students. Consider the following statements. On the dissolution of the House of People, the Speaker shall not vacate his or office until immediately before the first meeting of the House after the dissolution. This parliamentary chapter is very important for UPSC prelims, and while reading that, we would have studied about the functions of Speaker in Indian Constitution at work 11th standard NCERT. Okay, students, this is actually most of the times it tends to be correct because Speaker we cannot ask him to immediately go from the office, because after a new government sworn in, till then he will be available. So even after that, temporarily a pro tem speaker will also be appointed by the house. So these are the things we have studied while reading the polity chapter. Using that common sense, you can easily pick the first statement to be correct. Let's move to the second statement, students. According to the provision of Constitution of India, a member of the House of People on being elected as speaker shall resign from his or her political party immediately. Why? This is not at all correct. Why I am saying is, you would have read a lot of times the Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha speakers, they will be belonging to a particular party only, and most of the times the opposition party members will be criticizing why you are biased in being a particular party. Even you can take this parallelism in the state also, in your state legislative assembly also, the speaker will be from a particular party only. He will not even resign and all. So this is logically wrong, and even if you would have studied from your NCERT books, you will be easily eliminated. So second statement, if you eliminate it, look at the options. So you can arrive at option C directly rather than going to the third statement. So correct answer is option C. This is also one trick, students. In UPSC examination, either you are being correct for some statements, you will be correct 100%. That is not important. Sometimes when you eliminate a particular question, you have to be 200% sure. If your confidence level is to that an extent, then you don't need to go to the next statement and waste the time. You can save your time. Okay, students, let's move to the fifth question. Consider the following statements. If any question arises as to whether a member of House of the People has become subject to disqualification under the 10th schedule, the President's decision in accordance with the opinion of Council of Ministers shall be final. See, students, in case of Parliament, some member, whether he is going for disqualification or not, why President has to come and take the decision? Use common sense here. Because Speaker will be the presiding officer of the House. He is the final authority to decide whatever issues are happening within the House. So why it has to go to the extent of President coming and interfering in a parliamentary body? Because Parliament is separate and executive is completely separate. So we will not give that responsibility to President. You can eliminate first statement easily. Second statement, there is no. No is a negatively used keyword, students. So there is no mention of the word political party in the Constitution of India. Why not? Because one thing is you can use eliminations, that is keyword strategy. No, I'm using that also, you can eliminate this statement. Again, if you think logically also, this is not possible. So if you eliminate these two statements, easily you can arrive at the option D as the correct answer here. Okay, let's now move to the sixth question, students. Consider the following statements. In India, state government have no power for making rules for grant of concessions in respect of extraction of minor minerals. So basically, they have used a negative keyword, and that to see here, students, even if the minerals are located in the state government territory, state government will not have power. Do you think it will be logically be correct? It is totally logically also it is wrong. Additionally, using keyword strategy also, they have used a negative keyword. So this will be totally wrong only. Let's now move to the next statement. Statement 2. In India, central government has the power to notify minor minerals under the relevant law. There is no any keyword used positive or negative. It is a neutral statement. Basically, neutral statements most of the times will be tending to be correct only. So once you eliminate first statement as wrong, if you look at the four options, easily you can arrive at the option D only. You don't even need to move to the second statement, students. This is also one strategy you can use in UPSC Prelims Exam. As I said, whenever you are eliminating a particular statement, you have to be 200% sure rather than being 100% sure on positive statements. Okay, let's now move to the seventh question. With reference to Indian polity, consider the following statements. An ordinance can amend any central act. An ordinance can abridge a fundamental right. An ordinance can come into effect from a retrospective, that is a back date. So basically students here they are asked about the powers of ordinance and they have used a positive keyword can in all the statements. And here they have used any, that is a negative keyword. But if you read the first statement, an ordinance can amend any central act. Basically, the ordinance will be only passed when the parliament is not in session. And central act, basically that will be the part of union list. And the executive taking any control over union list, nobody is going to oppose it. So this might be correct. An ordinance can abridge a fundamental right. See students, an ordinance is basically it will be passed only when parliament is not in session. When parliament is not in session, kindly remember who is going to pass ordinance? It is the executive. That is the council of ministers going to recommend the president. Then using ordinance, do you think we will allow to take over the fundamental right? This is logically not at all possible. Directly eliminate option 2. That is the second statement and look at the answer here students. So easily you can arrive at that is the C statement. So it is highly possible this answer can be C only. Okay, let's now move to the 8th question students. Consider the following pairs. Arunachal Pradesh, the capital is named after a port and the state has 2 national parks. We are not very sure unless and until if you would have correctly read this particular fact, then only you can pick up whether this statement is correct or wrong. Why I am telling is there is not even any keyword used here. So neutral statement might be correct, but let's not take that risk here now. Let's move to the second one. Nagaland, the state came into existence on the basis of a Constitutional Amendment Act. Again, a neutral statement and a fact. Third statement, Tripura, initially a Part C state, it has become centrally administered territory with the reorganization of states in 1956 and later attained the status of full-fledged state. So basically, they have used neutral statements. There is no keyword in any of these statements. And for these kind of questions, students, I will be advising you, if you have not read this particular statement, I will easily ask you to skip this question because there are some questions which you can skip in the UPSC preliminary examination. It is not that you need to attend all the questions. You don't need to be a prelims topper. Your only strategy should be to clear the prelims cutoff. And to do that, we don't need to attend all the questions, students. If you are taking wild guess in all the questions, attending that, it will actually land up in only negative marks only. So you can easily skip this question. But if you have read this particular fact, I will advise you to go for this. Otherwise, kindly leave this question. So what is the correct answer here? So correct answer is C. All are correct because they have used a neutral statement. But I don't advise you to go for these kind of questions in UPSC preliminary examination until and unless you are very sure about the fact, students. Up to you know that that there are only 2 national parks, that is Moling and Namdapha in Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, let's now move to the next question, students. With reference to India, consider the following. Interstate Council, this is very well available. We know very well Interstate Council is a constitutional body and articles are also related to that we have studied for that is UPSC Prelims and Mains examination. Okay. So they are basically asking which are the provisions mentioned in Constitution of India. So Interstate Council is highly available. We know very well. National Security Council, it is not at all available. Easily you can eliminate it. Zonal councils, there is also an extra constitutional body. So basically students, only one has to be correct because why I am saying this is most important topic, repeated theme for UPSC prelims. This constitutional body, extra constitutional bodies and all. This and all you need to answer at a go. You don't need to think and waste your time too much over here. So the correct answer is option A only. Let's now move to the 10th question. The Constitution of India explicitly mentions in certain spheres of the governor acts in his or her own description. Yeah, it's possible because governor has some discretionary powers we have studied while studying the Indian Constitution for work. That is 11th standard book. Second statement, students, the President of India can in his or her own reserve a bill passed by a state legislature without it being forwarded by the governor of the state concerned. First of all, use logic, students. Why president is coming and interfering in something which is done by state legislature? Does it not lead to interference in state administration and state's parliamentary power? This is not at all possible using logic. Second thing, using keyword strategy. Without is a negative keyword, you can eliminate it. So the answer has to be only one is correct. Okay, let's now move to the 11th question. Consider the following pair: separation of judiciary from executive. This we know very well under Article 51. Then valuing and preserving rich heritage and culture. This is available for fundamental duties. Prohibition of children below the age of 14 years in factories. Obviously, we know this is a fundamental rights. All these are very important repeated topic for UPSC prelims, which we would have studied from basic NCERT. So directly pick the answer, that is option C. Let's now move to the 12th question, students. With reference to Constitution of India, if an area in a state is declared a scheduled area, the state government loses its executive power and local body will assume total administration. Total is a extreme keyword. How come a local body will take over something, override powers of state government? Logically not possible. And total is extreme keyword. Then second statement, union government can take over total administration of such areas on recommendation. Again, extreme keyword and logically not possible. Why union government is coming and taking complete takeover over the administration, that too in a particular state, that too scheduled area? Not at all possible. So you can eliminate both the statements, arrive at option D, students, using logics only. Let's now move to the 13th question. With reference to India, consider the following pairs. National Automotive Board. Automotive board means we know it is something has to do with cars and some heavy vehicles. Okay. How come it can be paired with Ministry of Commerce and Industry? It could have been Ministry of Heavy Industry. Okay. The Kaya board is something a small scale wherever this in a regions usually this coconut related things, from that the kaya will be manufactured. It will be a small scale industry. It would have come in MSME, students. A National Center for Trade Information. So trade is something, it would have come under Ministry of Commerce and Trade and Industry. So basically they have purposefully used this pair to confuse you. So you can easily see that all the three are wrong. So answer is none. Let's now move to the 14th question, students. Consider the following subjects under the Constitution of India. List 1, Union List in the 7th schedule. Then executive power, governor's office. So in which one you need ratification of half of the states before sending the bill for president? That's the question. So basically here, students, this we have studied while reading the basics in parliaments. That is the while reading the polity chapter only. 7th schedule, it talks about distribution of powers between center and state. Without taking the consent of state, we cannot touch this incentive segment. So state's power might be required. And some power, if you are changing the executive power of a state, state's authority is required. But governor is someone who is appointed by the central government, and changing his conditions, terms of office and all, you don't need to take over the help or ratification of states. So 1 and 2 only has to be correct for this question. 14 is A only, students. This is an easy question. You can answer if you would have read the basics of governor chapter. With reference to Indian polity, consider the following statements. Governor is not answerable to any court for the exercise and performance of powers and duties of his or her office. We know very well, students, while reading the basics of governor chapter, we know very well, if the governor is doing his duty, you don't need to go and tell to court and all why he has taken such decision and all. This is correct. Don't use keyword strategy here. This is a logic, you can use it. And whatever common sense you have studied from NCERT. Okay. Second statement, no criminal proceeding shall be instituted or continued against governor during his or her term of office. Yeah, we know very well. Criminal proceeding you can't even do against governor. And civil case means you need to give him 2 months notice. This will easily remember by studying basics of NCERT. Third statement, member of state legislature, they are not liable to any proceedings in any court in respect of anything said within the house. Yes, obviously there is some privilege which is given for members of state legislature, even parliamentary members for that matter. MLAs and MPs, whatever they say inside parliament, they have that kind of immunity. This is also correct. So you don't need to use keyword strategy here, because UPSC they purposefully they are playing with you by using this kind of negative keyword, but all are actually the correct fact which is picked from basic NCERT students. So all of them are correct. Consider the following activities. How many of them are regulated by Petroleum and Natural Gas Regulatory Board? So in 2 statements they are talking about production. Another 2 they are talking about refining and marketing. As I said, in UPSC prelims, one logic is there. Whenever they use 2 common things, that can be either both the things are correct or both the things are wrong. One good thing is here, as I said, by using that logic, 2 things would have been correct and 2 things would have been wrong. Otherwise also, I would advise you, if you are not very sure about this particular fact, please skip this question. You are not aiming for 100 out of 100 in UPSC preliminary examination. If you could answer the questions which are coming from basic NCERTs correctly, use some logics extra, then use elimination strategy extra, keyword strategy extra, up to that it is enough. Here nothing you can use it. So don't go beyond a level. Unless and until you want to take any extra risk in the exam, I won't advise you to cross more than 3 questions. That is, which you wanted to take extra risk like this. But any case, as I said, the logic would be 2 things are common here. Either the 2 would be correct or 2 would be wrong. So let's look at this answer. Answer is option B only. Why? Petroleum Natural Regulatory Board, it does not regulate production of crude oil. So production is not their territory. They will be only dealing with refining, distribution and marketing, students. But anyways, I would advise you to skip this question in the real examination. Don't aim for 100 out of 100 in UPSC prelims. Your only strategy is to clear the cutoff. Even if you are a last student to get the cutoff in UPSC prelims, I won't even mind, because they are not giving you any medal to achieve the highest mark in prelims. You have to showcase your full skill in mains and interview only. So let's do that. I hope this series is helping you, and it will also help more to arrive at the correct answer. Not only that, it will also to help you how to use logics and elimination in a right manner based on each subject. So we will come up with more such videos in the coming days, students. Thank you.